Well, hello, I'm Scott Stevens, Goldsboro City Manager, here for our November monthly update. And as nice as the fall has been, in my opinion, today we definitely know it's fall. It's gotten a lot colder and rainier, and it is that time of year. You know, leaves are coming off the trees, and it's a different time of the year and season, and a lot of good activities coming up. And I would just tell all of you, I hope you enjoy the holidays, from Veterans Day to Thanksgiving to Christmas and New Year's that are coming. They really are great times of the year for most of us. And I would just ask that you remember your friends and family, co-workers, and others who it may be a different Christmas for. They may have lost a loved one, they may have a change in their life that's significant, and maybe it's not a happy time for them, it's a sad time. So please make sure that you're looking out for one another as we go through what is generally considered a happy time and a joyous time for most of us. So with that, I do want to mention as well, in terms of family here at work, we have two of our department heads that have announced their retirement this year. The first is Chief Gary Whaley, who is retiring at the end of November. Gary's worked over 30 years at the city of Goldsboro, almost, I guess, the last 9 as our fire chief. And again, I think Gary has done a great job in terms of moving the department forward and keeping his firefighters at least aware of and fairly pleased and satisfied with their time at work. At least that's what our survey that we did at the end of May and June told us from the fire department. But do more comments coming on Gary as we go through the month of November, but I will I do want to say thank you to him publicly and encourage all of you to do that as well. And then a little behind that, at the end of December, our planning director Jimmy Rowe is retiring with 38 years of service. So between those two gentlemen, over 70 years of public service to the city of Goldsboro. And again, Jimmy's been an integral part of the management team and working through development that's going on in the community and helping people through that process. I really have enjoyed working with Jimmy, and I'll have an opportunity somewhere to tell him that more directly. But would encourage you see either of these gentlemen through the months of November and December while they're both still in the community, and Jimmy's still working through the end of December, to thank them for their service and wish them well in their retirement as well. A couple other things. We've talked about hurricane recovery last time in terms of individual assistance or the city's response or the city looking for additional funds, and we have applied to Golden Leaf for almost $6 million for various projects related to Hurricane Matthew's impact last year. We did receive notice of a $285,000 grant that will help us fix some stormwater drainage facilities, some large pipes that are in the neighborhood that have a lot of sinkholes and areas collapsing around them. Much of that as a result of the hurricane, and again, that project should get underway in the coming months. So we are appreciative to Golden Leaf for that award of $285,000, but we are still anxious and hopeful to have additional funding to help the community in terms of making a permanent, better recovery than where we were before the storm came through. We talk an awful lot about crime in our community, and with the holidays coming, I just want to remind everyone to be diligent and vigilant. Look after yourself. Keep your vehicles locked. That's a simple thing to do, whether you're home or out shopping. Keep things out of sight. Pay attention to your neighbor's house. Make sure you're locking your home. Some types of larcenies do go up this time of year, and again, I think all of us being aware and calling in suspicious activity when you see it will help. We have a lot of people in Goldsboro that can watch and report things, so if something looks suspicious to you, please call 911 and just tell them that. You're not sure, but you believe these folks did look suspicious in an area that you saw, and we'll send a patrol vehicle by there to at least put that presence or the police presence in that area and try to deter crime before it happens. So with that said, I will tell you from 2015 to 2016, as we're reporting crime on a calendar year basis, our overall crime rate dropped about 10% in Goldsboro. That's good. It's not enough, but a drop from 2015 to 2016 was good for us. This year, we are still down in terms of number of homicides, although we've had 7 this year to date. But when I look at our aggravated assaults, which are the more violent types of incidents between people, our numbers through the end of September are about 20% lower than they were in 2016. So I'm hopeful 2017 will end with not a lot of violent crime and not a lot of crime in general, and that our overall crime rate will continue to improve as we continue to put more money and technology into salaries, into equipment, and we build our strength of our department back together. And Chief West is working to staff and reorganize all of our specialized units so we can have a better effect in the community in reducing crime within the city of Goldsboro. That continues to be a very high priority for myself, the mayor and council, and the chief and his staff. Along with crime comes community appearance. We had a gentleman come and speak at the last city council member. They said he thought Goldsboro was a beautiful community, except we as citizens litter too much, and that is true of a lot of parts of town. It's not limited to any one part of town. We've had litter crews picking up trash on a daily basis for the past 7 or 8 months, and while their volume of trash is down from what it was when they first started, they are still picking up the same stretches of road throughout our community. We're picking up trash on a very consistent basis. Much of this is not accidental trash. It is people throwing it out the window. It is people opening the doors and setting it down, because I've witnessed that myself, and we need all of us to be better at that and recognize that it does have an impact on Goldsboro. It matters to you, and it does make a difference in your life, whether you believe it does or not, because the litter in our community definitely reflects negatively on us as a community, and people pay attention to that. So please do your part to keep your home, your street, your business clean. If you need the city to help, don't hesitate to call us. We are out there picking up trash on a daily basis as well. It's just a lot of area to cover, and we all need to do better to particularly get rid of the intentional littering that goes on in this community. Not a lot about projects this time, but I do want to mention our paving contractor. If you've been out and looked around, we did award a contract this year of $2.5 million, or I say we, the city council did, of $2.5 million. We normally do about $500,000 a year, so we've done 5 times the amount thanks to the street bonds that the voters approved last fall. I hope many of you are noticing they have not finished this $2.5 million worth of work, but they have made substantial progress through it. I know that Harding and Cedar are complete. I know that Hunters Creek Road has been paved, or a significant part of that. Marion Drive. We've been on Claiborne, Best, Wayne Avenue, Slocum, the West Haven streets off of Ash. I know they'll be on Beach and Holly. They'll be in Neal, they'll be on Gloucester, and they'll be on a few others. But again, as the contractor moves throughout the city, I hope you as residents that are ultimately paying for this work are able to enjoy and see the progress as well. And for me, where in many years we've only had enough money to do a block or two at a time in different neighborhoods, in this case we really have put together street segments, so when you ride through a lot of these areas, we've done long stretches of streets compared to what we've done historically. And again, this is the first phase of the street bond paving. Again, it was a $7 million bond package. We've got about $3 million out this year being spent, which means in the next years we'll have substantial street improvement projects as well. Again, $2.5 million on the street construction. We've got about a $400,000 street resurfacing, $2.5 million. We've got about $400,000 out with street construction, and we're paving a dirt street, Humphrey Street, about 4 blocks, and the Dakota Street, a block or so of it. They are under construction. Humphrey is ready to be paved. Dakota won't be far behind that. And again, there's still more work to do, but it is more progress than we've made in many, many years. I will tell you, development activity throughout the community continues to be steady and quite frankly, fairly strong for us. That is throughout Goldsboro, so that's a very positive indicator for our community. Downtown in particular is above average. Again, that just seems to sort of build on itself. There is a lot of interest and a lot of private development coming into downtown. We're very excited, at least I am, to see that continuing to occur as the city made a substantial investment with the Center Street Streetscape project with the intent and the expectation that the private sector money would follow, and thus far that does seem to be the case. We do have a public hearing scheduled for November 20th at the City Council meeting to talk about an economic development opportunity and a historic preservation opportunity, where we have a developer interested in another $10 million investment into our downtown, and we'll have more details to share November 20th. But my hope is that project will come to fruition and again just be another catalyst for more activity within our downtown that we believe will be better for Goldsboro and long term will make our community stronger and stronger. So again, I do want to thank all of those who have taken an interest in downtown or in Goldsboro anywhere in terms of development, and if we can help with anything, please don't hesitate to give me a call, because we're happy to help you work through that development process, which can be frustrating at times. Our other big project that's out there is an AMI water meter replacement project, and AMI is a technology, but it's just making it a smart meter. And when I say that, it means that we can remotely, from finance offices or our water department's offices, we can query your meter or send out a request to see how much water you've used, and we don't have to come out and physically read it anymore. This meter will then be connected to us electronically. and we will have daily usage. So if you want to know, well, how did I use that much water? We may not know how you used it, but we can take it back to show that on this particular day you used this kind of water, and that may help trigger you to know what was going on, whether it was watering your yard, filling a pool, or you had a lot of family visiting. We still won't know what you use the water for, but the technology will be there to help us with more information to help you as a customer understand where the water that you're purchasing from us goes, and thus affects the bill that you receive from us. And again, it'll physically replace all of the meters in our system, which is close to 15,000 water meters. We have the contractor out replacing really larger meters to business meters at this point, but we'll quickly move into the smaller meters in more residential areas in the coming months, and we'll continue to share information with you. Along with that, our finance director did ask the City Council to change our rates, or at least approve an additional rate structure. It's not an increasing in cost, but many of you know we currently bill in cubic feet in terms of a volume. We are changing to a gallon billing, so that ought to make it easier for customers to understand. Most people struggle with the cubic feet conversion. Most people understand what a gallon is, and we are moving to this gallon. And so in a year's time, we will be billing on gallons, not on cubic feet. But in the interim, we have a rate structure to support both. Again, not a rate increase, just a rate that reflects the gallon billing as opposed to the cubic foot billing. So again, that is something that the council has approved, and you may or may not notice a difference. The overall bill shouldn't change much, but the information on your bill will be somewhat different. City Council at the retreat in February did adopt new mission and vision statements for the City of Goldsboro. I'd like to at least share those with you and just sort of bring you up to date. We have had a group of city staff working through that process. We need to roll it out internally first, so I still have some internal work to do with that in terms of helping all of our employees understand what our new mission and vision statements are. But I also want to take this opportunity to share with the community, and you'll hear more from us. It may be a few months before we're ready to really put it out beyond our employees, but we are working towards these statements, and I just thought I'd share them with you. Our mission statement that the council had adopted as part of their retreat: the city provides services, promotes equality, and protects the well-being of all citizens for a better tomorrow. The vision statement that they created was an extraordinary, diverse citizen experience. It comes with a couple of values of being customer-focused, integrity, and professionalism throughout our departments, and some goals that we'll expand upon, but safe and secure community, strong and diverse economy, exceptional quality of life, racial and cultural harmony, and a model for excellence in government. And I think we have a lot to be proud of in many of those areas, and then we still have a lot of work to do to make Goldsboro what we have seen, or what our council sees as the vision for our future. And again, I covered that fairly quickly, but I will tell you there were hours and hours and hours of discussion about Goldsboro, from strengths to weaknesses to areas that we really need to work on to areas that maybe we can't influence but are still problematic for us. And so a lot of discussion and thought behind the mission and vision statements, and we'll be updating departments' mission and visions and then sharing those with our staff so that our workforce can get behind those as well and understand what they mean to the city and what we hope in terms of doing for the community. Boards and commissions, really sort of our, I say, leftover business. The mayor and council have been talking through the summer about boards and commissions, trying to make sure, one, we have good representation of the community on our boards and commissions, trying to make sure the rules are clear to all of who can call a meeting, who can cancel a meeting, how should a meeting be conducted. We certainly are looking for volunteer people to serve. We generally struggle with getting enough volunteers to serve on all our boards and commissions. They're available on our website. You can certainly call my office, 580-4330, and we can tell you what vacancies are there. But if you have an interest in being involved in city government, they're volunteer positions. Most of the boards meet about an hour to an hour and a half, one time a month. But we are trying to clean up the boards to make sure term limits are the same. Some of our boards have a year term limit, some of them have 2 or 3 years, and some of them have 5. I think some consistency in that is where the council wants to go, to say we all have 3 years, you can serve a maximum of 2 terms, but we are working to revise our ordinances or resolutions that govern our boards and commissions to make them a little more consistent and more straightforward from board to board to board. But there are a lot of opportunities, from our Parks and Recreation to our Planning Board to our Community Affairs. And so if you have an interest, please don't hesitate to get in contact with us and say you'd like to be part of that, and we certainly would welcome that. Outside of that, I think I'm close to the end for this month. A lot of activities in the community. I haven't tried to list them as the holidays approach. There are a number of outdoor events. There are a number of indoor events. The Tuesday night before Thanksgiving, we have our annual Lights Up downtown. I would encourage you to come to that. It is always a very festive event where the mayor throws the light switch, and normally there's some snowfall guaranteed or some snow on the ground guaranteed, thanks to our Downtown Development Corporation in terms of bringing in a snowmaker. But again, those events have been very nice, and there are a lot of them that are coming through, from our Veterans Day Parade on the 11th, again, to Lights Up on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, to our trolley rides throughout the holiday season. And again, so I would encourage you to look at our websites, pay attention with the News Argus and other outlets in terms of events going on in the community. You sometimes have to look, but there's an awful lot to do. And again, I would just remind you to enjoy the holidays and look out for your friends and family that it may be a different time for. And as always, if we can help with anything, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Again, I'm Scott Stevens, your city manager here in Goldsboro. Area code 919-580-4330. And again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone there.